Okay, live has been hit. Green has been achieved. Let's see if that reflects properly on the YouTube sphere. Man, this is going to be a happy podcast, I'm telling you. You know what I mean? I haven't gotten the notification on my phone yet, which is
We're
interesting.
live on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go then. All right, welcome everyone to 4GwQPodcast podcast. This is episode number 137 for January. Nope, I'm kidding. It's June. I'm not drunk at all. This is June 1st, 2017. I am Inferno 217. That was my dog behind me. We've got another dog on the panel making his 137th straight appearance, CPCI Assassin. What's going on, bud?
I
I'm kidding, dude. You're looking great lately. You know, ever since that fiasco with the zoom in, your camera has been top notch, man.
because
You
I'm
know,
not using Windows 10. I can go back to Windows 10. Bring back.
I mean, if you
Bring
want
back the
to,
Zoom.
if you want to bring back that zoom, then be my guest. You know, that was quite a point of the chat that show. So I'm sure the people would love that. But coming back from a few week hiatus, we've got Zebra Fries. Taylor, what's going on?
Hello.
And last but not least, we have the man, the myth, the beard, Italian Clowns. What's up, bud?
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
You know, nothing much. We've got quite a few things to talk about. There's shorter topics. I mean, it's kind of been a dead-ish week in gaming, so not really a ton of big things that have come out. We've got something for the end of the show that I think is a huge deal in the weird news of the week topic. We'll get to that later. But we've also got the FarCry 5 that that reveal has finally come out. We've got ARMS, that test punch happened. A lot of people are excited about that game now after playing it for the first time. There's another one next weekend. Assassin's already shaking his head. Can't wait to get to that topic. We've got Sea of Thieves. Rare is hiring for Sea of Thieves. Does that mean it's not coming out this year? We'll get into that. We'll debate that. We'll talk about a few indie games that are pretty big releases that finally got release dates and platforms. Pyre and Sonic Mania. We'll get into both of those. Friday the 13th is finally out, and it is an absolute mess across pretty much all platforms. Xbox has gotten the worst of it. Surprise, surprise. We'll get into that. And like I said, weird news of the week. Yeah, quick announcements before we get into like the actual show. Thank you, affiliates. Guys, go look down in the info on the YouTube channel. We've got links for Best Buy, Microsoft, Amazon, a bunch of links down there. You guys do regular shopping there. I know you do. I think they're U.S. only. Sorry, UK, Europe, Australian viewers. But definitely go to that. Do your shopping through that link. You don't have to buy what comes up when you click it. Just buy something, and we will get a referral bonus for you going through our link. So we appreciate our supporters for going through those links, and we appreciate the affiliates. So thank you. Also, we did a couple interviews recently. Go check out our interview with Black and White Bushido head of creative Ben. He was a great guy. Awesome interview we did with him. It was about a half hour long. And we're going to be giving away like 4 copies of that game actually coming up here on Gleam. So look out for that on our Twitter. It's available now for $12.99, but if you want to wait for our giveaway, then just wait and get in that thing. Also, we did an interview yesterday with Ross Miller, who is the one of the hosts for the Party Chat podcast on the subreddit for Xbox One, the official podcast for that subreddit. So that's a big deal. We tried to get that at one point. We got denied back in our infancy. So it was good talking to him about that, going through that process, and all the guests that he's had on. And the state of the Xbox, really. So we got into a good discussion about that. That's about 50 minutes long. So we'll let you guys check that out. Please do. It's on our YouTube channel. I see a lot of people in the chat talking about how I'm hammered. I'm not quite hammered, but I am happy. I am happy. All right. Well, let's
Just because Randall said Boston Hammer, so I said you are hammered.
Yes. Appropriate for tonight, Rand. Appropriate for tonight. So yeah, let's just get into the first topic here. Kind of the thing that happened, earliest in the week between our shows. Happened right after our show, actually. Really, not even like 12 hours after we started. FarCry 5 reveal, and I know Assassin is dying to say something about this because Assassin is the biggest FarCry fan on planet Earth, and so I'm gonna let him quickly get in here. What did you think of the reveal, and are you now excited for the game after seeing it?
I am actually a little bit excited, but I have to keep my expectations low because it's Ubisoft here. But I mean, the whole religion stuff that's going on is kind of interesting, and I think the game is getting more out there because people are petitioning it because of the religion bullshit that's out there. And I think people need to suck it up and go play Outlast 2, which has religious stuff in it, and that didn't get hate.
Yeah, kind of weird how there's been a petition for this, right? I don't know if it was a troll or if it was a real thing. It kind of reads like a troll, but even so, like, we're petitioning for games to not be released. Is that fair to the developers? I don't think it is. Yeah, especially like games like Outlast, like GTA. I think GTA is, on the whole, probably much more offensive than this thing.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, good point you bring, Assassin, and I agree with you on pretty much everything there. Taylor, did you get a chance to look up any Far Cry stuff?
A little bit. Pretty much everything I saw was about the religion cult in it. I know. And it's like, first of all, if you're getting offended about a religious cult, you're probably in a religious cult. To be fair, if you're getting upset about that.
No joke.
Just
right?
saying.
No joke. And we said this, I think it was last week or maybe it was the week before when we talked about this. We said that, there isn't really a lot of people people understand religion, but do people really understand cults to the point that they'll probably understand it while playing this game? I think people just like associate cult with bad thing, like, oh, we're going to convert everyone who plays this game into a cult. If you're getting offended by that, I tend to believe what Taylor just said. You're probably either part of it or you don't want your good name tarnished, something like that. But, man, it's sad that when you look up this thing on the net, it's not about the co-op campaign, the fully co-op campaign. It's not about the new activities you'll be able to do. It's not about the story-driven atmosphere that they're trying to encourage. It's about friggin' religion. It's crazy.
Well, I mean, I hate to say this. If you go down to the deep south or the rural south, or if you go down to like the orange groves and the dirt fields, I'm sure there's plenty of religious cults in the south. And I think there's nothing wrong with making a fictionary game based on it. It's not like they're calling anyone out specifically. And a lot of cults, if you are Christian anyway, a lot of Christian cults go against what you would believe in the Bible because their rules are so strict that it goes against the Old and the New Testament. I don't think there's anything wrong with making a fictionary imaginary game, and I wouldn't be surprised if, with all the bad press that Ubisoft has had in the past, if they intentionally promoted that petition just to get their game some ground.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, it's true. I mean, we've seen things in the past like that. We've seen like Sniper Ghost Warrior, come out with shitty season pass policies. We've seen, companies like Lawbreakers make the announcement of a PS4 being exclusive when it was not on the map at all for any console players, including PS4 people. We've seen people put out like bad, controversial things, and this takes it to a whole nother level. Like this, they had to have known that a picture like we're seeing right now on the podcast, this reenactment, if you will, this impersonating of the Last Supper was going to be controversial. So I understand why I understand the point, Clowns. Like, I understand it's extremely controversial, but at the same time, like, everyone is just focusing on that and not looking at the improvements that we've heard about with the Far Cry thing. Like, the co-op, the entire campaign, I'm all in on that. Like, that is what's getting me excited about Far Cry, not the fact that I'm going to be playing as a cult. You know what I mean? What are you going to say?
Yeah.
Just people are just kind of like, being babies. 'Cause, like, if something goes on that affects their life, they gotta bitch and complain. Just suck it up.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I mean, people aren't going to come to your house and kill you because the game's based on, something a little bit out of your life. Just deal with that.
Nice.
Yeah, where were all the complaints when Outlast 2 had upside down crosses?
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
There was no complaints about that, right? There was no petitions against that.
Right. Hardly at all. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, and I know Stick Figure, one of the hosts of the Down Under Gaming podcast, is in the YouTube chat, so hopefully you can correct me if I'm wrong. But I'm pretty sure Outlast 2 had no problem getting through the Australian ratings boards. And, that I would say the things that happen in that are way more offensive than what we've seen so far about Far Cry 5. You guys are right. I think, where was all this? Just because Outlast is a horror game, is a game that's centered towards being outrageous and, getting chased down, being killed. Like, it's supposed to be horror. Oh, we lost clowns for a second here. Just because of that means it gets a pass. I don't think that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
But Assassin, what did you think of the slide? I said of the slideshow. I just grabbed these from the reveal. But what do you think of like the screenshots, the videos that they had, the trailer, that kind of stuff?
I mean, the game, at least graphically, I mean, it could be running on the Pro or PC, but I mean, it looks good. Looks like there could be, a lot of vehicles to do. Like they're doing more and stuff to keep people engaged. And there's cows. So,
there's cows. Yes, indeed. There. Is that a value add? Is that like a $60 product right there? Because there's cows.
Well, you don't see many cows in games. I mean, so
Skyrim.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a small
I've been
amount
playing a lot of
like,
Skyrim lately.
like Skyrim and GTA, but you never get to see a cow and just hit it with a plane.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Taylor, what did you think of like the graphics and stuff, the visuals, the theme, that kind of thing?
The graphics look very, very nice. I really like them. I also did read that you can customize your character for the first time.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So you can play as male, female, and then you can... There's not a whole lot out about what kind of customizations you can do. But the fact that you can actually customize your character now, I think that makes it a lot better.
Yeah, that's... Oh, Assassin, you going to say something? I'm sorry, bud.
Hopefully there's a voice to this character, because there's some games where you're just playing a guy and they have no voice.
Yeah.
To them, and then... the story gets a little lacking a little bit.
Yeah, hopefully every character that you encounter that's a major part of the story, including yourself, has a voice, has an identity. Because I think that's the thing about Far Cry that I don't really like that much, is that I've never been really attached to the story or like the environment or the characters. I've never felt like what's being presented to me is worthwhile to like learn names, to learn, other than the villains, that kind of thing. I just haven't felt attached to it. And Primal, like, I was really excited for that game. The game came out, I saw people play it. Primal is a big one that's just like that. Far Cry 3, maybe more story driven, but Primal, like, man, I felt no attachment to the characters. Would you say that's true, Assassin, or do you agree with that?
Out of any of the Far Cry games, I have never cared about one character except I think it was Voss or whatever in Far Cry 3. He keeps on saying, the death. Like that guy is the only guy I cared about in the entire Far Cry because he was, a little crazy and kind of cool.
Right. All right. Other than that, I thought Clowns would have something to say about this, but unfortunately, his Florida power outage has taken him away from us. And Inferno. Wow, I need to push this drink away. Jizzle says that he wants to come in on the change on the fly. I mean, Jizzle, if you're on Skype, I'll invite you to this call right now if you want to take a spot for a few minutes. But you're not online, so forget it. Anyway, yeah. Stick Figure says, religious people chasing me with guns, now that's a horror game. I mean, it's true, right? Like, is it going to play like a horror game, though? I don't get that feeling that it's going to play like a horror game. What are you laughing at this mention of whatever it is? What is that word, by the way?
Covfefe.
Yeah, what is that? That's like a
Trump
typo
tweeted
from-
it out at like 1 in the morning or something,
What an
and
idiot.
like everyone lost their mind.
Dude, I've seen like shirts, I've seen memes, it's taking the world by
Yeah.
storm. Like, what does that even
Hillary
mean?
Clinton tweeted about it.
Did she really? Perfect.
Because
Perfect.
Trump tweeted something about how she was a terrible candidate, and she retweeted it with something about Covfefe. Oh, it's so funny.
That's funny. All right, let's see if we can get Jizzle in here. Hold on. He's still
Yeah, we
online.
can get him in here and talk about Call of Duty for the rest of the podcast.
I'm gonna ask him about Call of Duty like right away when he gets in. All right, so is that it for FarCry? Like we went over a lot of the features.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on, Jizzle. Jizzle has popped online. Let's see. Oh, it says he did. Let me see. Oh yeah, he did. All right, let's get him in here. User not online now. There we go. Jizzle, what's going on, kid?
Can you see me?
You getting a phone call? It sounds
Jesus, yeah. I'm trying to. There we go. It's gone.
This is a mess. Oh, now Clowns is back too. All right. Jizzle's gonna be in, but without video. I think.
Video?
Yeah,
now you're in Clowns' spot.
I'm without video. If you guys can hear me.
We can hear.
I have to
you.
mute the. I have to mute the thing.
Oh,
I
wow.
guess.
This is a shit show officially at this point.
So do you want me to drop out?
No. Why don't you join in? Because I think you'll have some good things to talk about while when we get to the next topic. But do you have anything to say about FarCry?
I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be good. But hey, what do I know? I don't like first-person shooters that like release like every year or every other year. It's just like, come on, dude. I want something new.
Well, Jizzle, you gotta admit that it's been a while since there's been a Far Cry game. 18 months.
1.5 years? That's not a long time for something that's.
Assassin, what were you gonna say?
Last year, you mean? Primal came out last year.
Yeah, but like February, right? Or March?
Yeah, but I mean,
You know,
that's
the other
still a
thing
year.
is too. Like the other thing is that games these days, like if you wait 2 weeks, they drop down to like $40.
Yeah,
So like
absolutely.
a game really has to be fantastic for me to pick it up right away. And like with games dropping at $40 2 weeks, I'm just waiting until it's like 4 weeks for them to drop to 20. It's just like that's where it's all going.
Mm-hmm.
Just
games
like
that don't compete are gonna drop to $20 in a month. So
I mean, just like Dishonored 2.
Oh Jesus, dude.
Wow.
they're just.
What about
They're
Call of
just
Duty? What about Call of Duty, Jizzle? What do you think?
Dishonored too. I was thinking about what was I thinking about? For Honor, right?
What do you think about Call of Duty, Jizzle?
Dude, not even worth talking about. You know my thoughts. The Bud Light of gaming.
The Bud Light of gaming. You hear this kid? Well, yeah. I think Far Cry may be in trouble with now that it's being released in February 2018. That's pretty close to stuff that's gonna probably outshine it, like Red Dead. Probably like God of War is gonna be coming out around that time. I know they try to get out of the fall, and not release this fall because they don't want to be overshadowed. But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I'm excited for co-op. I want to go in there with Assassin and take out some cows and stuff. So,
It's gonna be good. I think it's gonna be good. I'm not saying it's gonna be great, but I think it's gonna be good.
Paul Smith in the YouTube chat says, I am over Far Cry already." That's pretty sad because the game hasn't come out yet. But I don't know. I guess the closing question for everybody, just really quick: do you think this is going to lead to the resurgence of the franchise? Like now that Primal kind of left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, you think this is going to bring it back or no?
I mean, I don't think so because it has Ubisoft's name all over it. But because they always had that formula, we're going to put a bunch of repetitive missions and jam-pack the whole map with collectibles. So
yeah,
I think it is. It's gonna revive it.
Taylor, what do you think?
I don't think so, to be honest. But now that Clown said that it will, it probably will.
Nice.
Yeah,
For
I
whatever
mean, it's
reason,
true.
he's never wrong.
I am never wrong. That is true. I think I think it's because of that Mooch Swami stuff. I think some psychicness rubbed off on me a
Oh,
little
did
bit.
it? Doing Crossfire a little bit rubbed off on you?
Yeah.
Nice. Jizzle, final word on this. Gonna revive the franchise or no?
No, I didn't know. Revive like infers that it was good at one time and then went down, and then now it's gonna be good again. So,
Are you kidding me? It was good at one time. FarCry 1
Was it?
through 3? Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. Never been a thing that interests me. So,
Shanzu says he's going to pick it up. Sobsky says he can't wait for Far Cry 5. I think people are divided on this. I think if it comes
That's
out,
right, guys.
Far Cry doesn't need reviving. Sobsky, you're wrong about that, my friend. I'm pretty sure. I think everyone, I don't think everyone, but I think a lot of people would say that Far Cry needs reviving. Just like Assassin's Creed. Do you think Assassin's Creed needs reviving? Syndicate was excellent. Unity was not great. Syndicate was good, but they took a year off to revive that. So it's kind of
Unity had an awesome story.
Yeah, but,
you know, it's a problem too for me because I have this personal bias, I guess, now because having played Breath of the Wild and like going through that, it's like that's been like the first game I've gotten lost in since like Half-Life 2. So
Borderlands?
now I'm like, well, Borderlands. I just love the concept of Borderlands. I don't think it was like that engaging.
Okay.
Like I lose track of time.
Wow.
With Zelda, I literally lose track of time. I look at the clock and I'm like, holy shit, it's 2:30 in the morning. Like, that's an awesome experience when you're playing a game. And it's like, you're not going to get that from franchises that release a game every year.
Yep.
Like, if they just didn't do that and just shortened their window, just made something incredible every, I don't know, however many years you want to put in between releases to do that. But, you know, money talks, and it's all about the money. It's a business, and so they're going to do what they need to do.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, Ubisoft has just been pumping out game after game after game after game. You know, that you got Stick of Truth now coming. I mean, not Stick of Truth, Fractured But Whole coming out. You know, that was
It's probably going to be excellent.
Yeah, people thought that was coming out in 2018 and this was going to come out in 2017, but it's the other way around. So maybe they didn't want to compete with their own game there. I don't know. Yeah, but Ubisoft has got hit a lot of good stuff lately. I think Ubisoft is kind of on the up. I mean, Siege, Ghost Recon, say what you will. A lot of people are still playing that. Assassin's Creed, that everyone's anticipating the new one. So I mean, Ubisoft's on the up. I think you may have something with that, Jizzle, in Assassin. I think it's just gonna, you know, people are gonna see this as the same old. So, wow, I'm gonna have to put some people in timeout in here, huh? Jeez,
That was great,
unbelievable.
Wow.
All right, let's get off this Far Cry topic and get into something that I know Jizzle has a lot to say about, so I'm kind of glad he called in, if you will. The first ARMS test punch is now over. We got 3 days of it in North America, only 2 days around the world. So the ARMS test punch is over. Jizzle, you making a lot of noise over there? What are you doing?
No, that's my
hey.
mother-in-law moving the chair.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. So Jizzle, why don't you start us off with this topic? What did you think of ARMS now that you've played it and not just seen it like at PAX and stuff? What did you think?
I don't remember actually seeing it at PAX, so I don't know about that, but maybe I just wasn't paying attention. But anyways, so I'm actually a little more mixed than you think. I thought it was excellent. I thought it was really fun. And one thing that I actually was really surprised about was the fact that so many games came down to the wire, and it was like sometimes we'd pull it out and get like the incredible win, and that was just like something you don't really get a lot in fighting games. Well, for me at least, like you only see the pros do that, and I felt like almost I was really good at a fighting game for a minute. So that was really fun. On the other hand, it's something I probably don't think about enough when I'm looking at games these days. This is a $60 game, and it's like somebody brought that up to me because I was like, "Oh, you got to get this game," and then they were like, "It's a $60 game," and I'm thinking about it. I'm like, "Is this really a $60 game? Should this really be a $60 game?" Now, I don't think it's a $40 game. I think there's so much content, and they're putting so much into it that I think it's better than a $40 game. But at the same time, I don't think it's a $60 game. So there's that. In terms of just the test punch, the test punch was great. I think the matches were a little short, but obviously, when it releases, I would expect that to be corrected. Hopefully, the issue with if you're playing two people on the same system, you don't get split up in between two different matches gets fixed, because that kind of sucked. But overall, I thought it was a good start. I think this weekend is going to be good. And I'm looking forward to seeing what else they bring to the table. But price point wise, I was thinking it over again, and I don't think it's a $60 game.
Well, that's the risk, right? That's the risk with these people putting out betas and test punch, test fight, whatever you want to call it, technical tests they call it sometimes. You see part of the game, and you're like, is there going to be enough here for it to warrant 60? They only give you a little taste. It's not like a full demo of everything there is to offer, whereas stuff like EA Access gives you 10 hours, unabated access to the entire game, so you can really get a feel of what it's going to have. I don't feel like I understand where you're coming from, Jizzle, but at the same time, I think people have to realize that, and because you've looked into the game, but I think a lot of people are in the camp where they haven't looked into it and they just figure this is what they're going to get. There's a lot more. There's single player, there's basketball mode, there's a bunch of different modes, upgrades, etc. There's just so much that you weren't able to get in this test punch that may be worth 60. But
yeah, it's possible. I think it's close. It's not as bad as Super Street Fighter. Was it the final or actually, I guess it's Ultra Street Fighter. I don't know what they're calling it. The one that just came out on the Switch. I want to pick it up, but there's no way in hell. There's just I can't for 40. I just can't physically do it.
Well, then, not to interrupt you, but in that vein, right? You see something like Ultra Street Fighter for 40. You see games like Binding of I know you're not interested in this, but Binding of Isaac for 40. You see games like 1-2 Switch for a full 60, and then you see ARMS for 60. Don't you kind of think okay, well, for how fun this game is, for the value is going to be there, but you haven't been able to test? Don't you think, okay, maybe 60 is the right price for this, seeing that there is gouging on other games?
Yeah, it's not. I feel less passionate about saying it's not a $60 game than I do about saying Street Fighter is not a $40 game. Street Fighter absolutely should be $20, and even that might be a reach. You know exactly what you're getting there. ARMS, I think it's somewhere in between, and I'm not I don't feel too bad about paying a little bit of the Nintendo Premium.
Right. It's a brand new IP. So yeah, it could be sequels, could be, amiibos, that kind of thing.
And the nice thing about it, too, is it's not one of those games I mentioned earlier where it's going to go for $40 down to $40 in 2 weeks. Because it's a Nintendo game, it's right. You're not getting robbed. You're getting, I guess if you think you're getting robbed, you're going to continue to get robbed. It's not like you're going to buy it up front and then 2 weeks later it's going to be discounted and you're going to feel bad about it.
Right.
So this crappy ARMS thing, right, that you guys are talking about, this,
man. Here we go.
This joke of a show where Nintendo sent out a bunch of controllers that were broken because they didn't put the, the thing to block in the interference in the controller, and then everybody sends in their controller, gets it fixed, and they come back and they're still not working. Some are worse than when they were sent in. So how are all these people going to play ARMS? Are they going to bash their
standard controls?
Yeah, so ARMS has non-motion controls as well. You can select it to be standard controls as well. I mean, if you do that, you're probably losing out a lot in the game. I mean, it is a fair point, Clowns, because I think this game, I didn't really play with the standard controls a lot. I watch people play with the standard controls a lot on Twitch, but I will say that if you play with standard controls, you're probably losing out on a lot of the allure of the game. Wouldn't you say, Dan?
Yeah, unless you really want to feel super good about yourself, I guess. Because I will admit the motion controls are not 100%. Like sometimes I felt like I was doing something and it wasn't happening exactly how I was throwing it. And I don't think you can block grabs, which kind of sucks. But anyways, yeah, like it's not in the spirit of the game. You could probably play better with the standard controls, but it's just not the spirit of the game.
Assassin or Taylor on ARMS. You guys see anything about it? I know you guys don't have Switches, but I don't know if you guys saw anything.
I just saw a lot of people who were hating on it turn around and start loving the game.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a good point because I think a lot of people, this was not, I've heard a lot of people on podcasts say this is not, whoa, what is going on? Is the stream still live?
Buffering for me. No,
Nope,
it's off.
Merc says, yup. Okay. I'm back to green. Oh, you back?
Yeah, I got to say something while we're still back on this ARMS topic. You know the reason why everybody's changing their view on this? Because everybody who has a Switch is hungry for new games, and there's nothing out there.
Not gonna lie, that helps too. This is the reason I bought Mario Kart. I actually can't stand Mario Kart. I think it's like not as bad as Mario Party, but it's like almost right up there, and I felt compelled to buy it because there's nothing else.
Yeah.
No, I mean, if Virtual Console came out already, I think some of these ARMS people would be like, oh, screw this crap. You know, it's like, you know, if you give a kid a piece of candy because they have no other candy, it's going to be great. But if you take a kid into a candy shop and there's tons of candy and you give him his favorite candy and then the worst candy, he's going to be like, oh, that sucks. Same thing with Nintendo Switch right now with games.
Well, I mean, harsh but kind of true. But at the same time, I think if the Switch had a bunch of games, I'd still be interested in this because I'm itching for a game that uses those motion controls properly. And I know, Jizzle, you said that it doesn't work 100%, but I think 80% is very fair in saying that it works about 80% of the time. I felt the accuracy was well beyond any other motion control game that I've ever played, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean it's up there. It's not like you have no control over what you're doing. It just kind of sucks when you think you did something and it's completely different and then you get wrecked for it. But yeah, like I would still be into this game if there were more games available. I'd still be into it. I definitely wouldn't have bought Mario Kart, I don't think, but I would have been interested in this enough to buy it, just perhaps not right away. Mm-hmm. I might have waited for some sort of deal or something.
Right. Assassin, you got any final words on this? I haven't heard from you about this one.
The game looks all right. I can't wait to try it when Clown sends me a Switch, like he said.
Yeah, no.
Hey,
no.
He said if he did something, that he would send me one. So, yeah.
Dude.
Just throwing that out there.
Assassin, if and when you ever get a Switch, I definitely want to see your ass with a cam on, streaming arms, like flailing your arms around. I want to see like you used to do with Fantasia, where you were on your bed, you know, on your magic carpet, flailing your arms around. You know, those were the best streams, bud. So, you know, if I had a lot more expendable income, I would almost pay to have you do that on a daily basis, just so I can see that, because I'd be very entertained by that.
And I would destroy all you guys and I just throwing that out there. Just like Uno. And Mario Kart and Mario Party.
Dude.
You gotta do that Uno stream now. I think that'd be really funny.
We're definitely gonna do that. Everyone here owns Uno on Xbox One. Assassin, do you own Uno?
I don't, but I'll buy it.
And I don't own Uno.
I thought we did. I did.
No.
Wait, is strip Uno or just Uno?
No, just regular Uno. Strip Uno. Jesus.
I don't know. That was a big thing back in the day.
Oh, was it? Were you part of that at one point?
No, I just remember hearing about it.
Was that something you and Al used to practice together?
No.
On a daily basis.
On a daily basis.
All right, let's move on to the next topic. I don't know how much Jizzle's going to have to say about this, but I think everyone else will have something to say. Rare put out this ad on Twitter. Very intricate, I would say, advertisement for some new positions or maybe existing positions that they're hiring for Sea of Thieves. It says, Rare is a long-running UK game developer currently creating the epic shared world pirate adventure Sea of Thieves at a custom-built studio deep in the heart of England. Come join the crew. So they're definitely hiring for the Sea of Thieves team. And for a lot of people who are anticipating this game, thinking it would come out around this time, maybe a little bit later in the summer, maybe, even this holiday. 2017 release, I think from this news and this advertisement, does not look very good because you've got software opportunities that says senior gameplay programmer, senior AI programmer, a front-end web developer. They've got release engineer, a software test engineer, senior software programmer, and deployment pipeline. So they've got quite a few. I mean, granted, I think Jizzle will have more to say about those positions and specifics. But for me, I see those and I see big positions. They're trying to fill big positions that if the game were coming out anytime soon, those would be filled, all set away. They wouldn't be hiring for those. It would be done and over with. And, the game would be closer to going gold than it probably is. So,
well, I want to throw this out to UK Daz real quick, to Dazarus. With Brexit and everything, I think that companies have to get rid of any foreign employees that they have that are not permitted to stay in the UK. And I think the UK companies now have to hire UK employees. I think they've gotten a lot stricter. So if Rare did have any foreigners that worked for them that stayed on a visa, they would have to go before the game's launch.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair point. And, you mentioned that a little earlier in Discord, and I was like, I think it was Discord, and I was like, yeah, I mean, that is a really fair point that, something as catastrophic as Brexit happened and could have ruined the whole cycle and whatnot. But doesn't that, even with that, doesn't that spell doom? Because now what? You're going to have to start over with these big positions with new people that may not be as talented and stuff?
You're going to have to replace them with local talent, and then you just give them the source files that the others used to use. Yeah. That's what I would imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like these people in big positions are going to have to just like pick up and go with what old people had then. And I mean, at that point, like, they should delay it even more beyond what they were going to, because it's going to take an adjustment period, as far as I would know. I mean, I know, Jizzle, you worked in the gaming industry, so kind of like some of this stuff. Are we right in this assessment, or is this just a big to-do about nothing?
I think it depends on the position. So just looking at some of them here, like release engineer, software test engineer, like those are a dime a dozen. Those could shuffle in and out. Like literally when I worked at Harmonix, they would just bring QA in for seasonally, like when the game was ready to be like submitted to first party. So like that's whatever. Like they just do that whenever they need it, and then they drop those people off. I would think release engineer would be very similar. I don't understand why you would need somebody that would need to be a release engineer all year or all the time. More of the senior positions is kind of like troubling, but I think somebody mentioned in the Discord or something, somewhere I saw recently that Sea of Thieves was going to be kind of like an ongoing thing. They were going to have DLC like all the time, and it was going to be a revolving door. So that could be part of it.
Yeah, but even so, senior gameplay programmer, you think if it were a revolving door, you wouldn't be gunning for somebody of that high of a position. I mean, senior gameplay programmer, how many people... I mean, I'm ignorant, so maybe I don't know, but how many people can fill a position like that in an already established game? You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, so also another thing is, at least at Harmonix they did this. They had separate teams even just for like some of the DLC. Like if it were a pack, for example, like they used to do like the country packs, I think, and they would do standalone releases for those too. So even if you didn't have the game, you could buy it as a standalone release. Like they will spin that off into a separate team. So that could be the case here, where they could just be spinning off a separate team to start working on DLC now. That sounds kind of crazy to me, but like I said, it's a business, so they might want to just get in front of that immediately.
Right. Taylor or Assassin, any thoughts on this?
We all know that there's no way in hell this game is launching this year. It would kill the game, basically, if it launched this year, because there is no way it's going to launch in summer. So in fall, it's going to get destroyed. So, yeah.
Taylor, what do you got?
What a pessimist.
Well, we got another pessimist about to speak here, so let's let her have it.
That's true. But, yeah, I'm with the Assassin on this one. I think unless Jizzle is right in saying that it could be a new team for the DLCs or something, then I think it's probably going to get pushed to next year, just because if it's released this year anytime, it's going to get crushed because there are so many big titles coming out.
Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know about you guys, because we've talked about this a few times on the show, and people kind of had like mixed feelings about how they're like if they would get it or not and whatever. But like, I know Clowns has played it, and I know Clowns isn't too big of a fan. But Assassin and Taylor, like, are you guys looking at this game as something you'd possibly play, or is this kind of like not your thing?
Game I'm definitely looking to play. I haven't went into their test thing because I don't want to like get bored of it, Yeah. But so.
Well,
I can talk about much of it, even if I did play.
They changed. They keep changing stuff. I can say that. I can't tell you what, but they've done a lot of changes, Assassin. So if you go in and play, it's not going to be the same one that you play when it launches. They keep testing out different things.
I mean, they're definitely going to test out a bunch of things, but it's like if I put 100 hours of different tests before launch, I don't see myself putting another 100 hours in, unless a bunch of other people that didn't get in are just going to play it.
Right. No, I hear what you mean. I understand that. I mean, it's a good point. Like, people get burnt out on betas. Like, Tim Dog has said it a bunch of times on podcasts I've watched him in, podcasts I've been on with him. He said, like, how are you people still playing betas at this point? Like, how are you not burnt out on this shit, on trying stuff early, broken states, ruining your perception of the game? Like, so Clowns, I hear what you mean. They're constantly adding things, but at the same time, like, the gameplay mechanics are so similar, even with the new content. It's just like, okay, you kind of get burnt out.
No. Nope.
Why? What's different?
No. I got an email. I got invited to a special test session that even the people in the program can't get into.
Oh, okay.
I got invited to something very special, and I can't really say too much, but I can tell you there's a lot of changes.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, maybe the mechanics are different then. I don't know. Part of me thinks too that if what Clowns is saying is that, but he can't really say it, is that the mechanics have been changing. Like, isn't there some way that they have to tell the public that? Because I know in the public eye that people think it's just the same old over and over and over with these tests.
It's the best way to say it is it's growing based on feedback.
Gotcha. Well, that's good. And then in which case, if that's the case, then what Jizzle's saying is probably accurate. Like, these people are in it for the change portion, you know what I mean? Not necessarily the development of the core game, but all the changes and the DLC and the add-ons that people want to see in the game. So maybe it is a positive thing. Maybe it'll get crushed if it comes out this year, I think. I agree with you guys on that, but we shall see. Really quick in the YouTube chat, Shanzu says, Middle-Aged Gamer says they should put this game in game preview. I totally agree with that. Shanzu says, with all the major third-party games pushing release dates to next year, is there a safe place for first-party exclusives? I mean, everything we've seen from first-party is being pushed back to like 2019 anyway.
Well, I wanted to answer Middle-Aged Gamer
about
the game preview
Hold
thing.
on. I keep getting this error again. Did we stop? Oh no, we're back. Okay. There's something going on with the YouTube servers right now. I keep getting this error that YouTube servers are unresponsive or something. We're back. Go ahead.
To answer middle-aged gamers' question of why game preview or whatever, the reason why it's not in game preview is because they have NDA slashed all over it.
Right.
So if you were to play it on game preview, your gamer tag and other things may pop up on the screen because they don't want people in the press putting these photos out there if they're not actual press releases from Rare themselves.
Right.
Yeah, but it can still be in game preview and do that, right? Because Gwent was in game preview, even though, it wasn't open. But it was technically a game preview game that started off as closed beta, and I believe it's still in preview because it's an open beta now. So they could do that, but the thing is, like, game preview, man, I don't think it works for non free to play. I just don't like we've been talking about, it just ruins your perception of the game. And it's like you have unfiltered access to it. So it's like now you're getting to see it from start to finish. It's like, great. By the time the game comes out, what do you have left? And I think that's one of the arguments people in favor of the Arc DLC made when they decided to go ahead and make DLC before finishing the main game. Like, a lot of people are probably sick of that game at this point if they've been with it from the start, because it's been, it's been game preview the whole time. So I'm not a huge fan of game preview. I think Gwent did it okay. I think even Paladins to an extent did okay with it, but those are both free to play, so it seems to work for them. But it's like kind of crazy to me for any paid titles.
Well, Paul Smith in the YouTube chat brings up a good point that something like We Happy Few from Compulsion Games, he says that We Happy Few has changed so much for the better. And it's true. We haven't played that in a while. That's been in game preview for quite a long time. And I know Taylor was a huge fan of that game. And so it makes me want to go back and try it, because I remember exactly what I played in game preview, back in the day. So if I go back and try it, and that is a paid-for game, and if it's a lot different and a lot better, maybe I will get excited for the future,
Yep.
But like Elite Dangerous, for instance, like that's a good point for what Jizzle's saying. Like, you get in, you get everything, you're burnt out. You've already got, like, what's encouraging for the future once you're in game preview?
Yeah, but that game wasn't in game preview for like that long. It was like 5 months.
I gotta agree with Assassin on that one.
That's
at least that one matured out of it at some point.
Well, your favorite game preview game, Clowns, The Longest Dark or whatever? The Long Dark? What's the name of that one?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, The Long Dark.
Yeah, that's out of game preview now, I think. That's matured.
Is it? I thought it was maturing in August. I haven't checked.
No, maybe it's August. I don't know, but
I gave up. When it sits in game preview too long, I think of it like a graveyard. Like, it's cool to be there first and play it, but if it stays there way too long, it's like a graveyard.
Mm-hmm. And Mr. Sky Blue 1972 says there are some well-known PC games still in preview. Yeah, I mean, Ark was in preview for a really long time. Like DayZ, that kind of stuff, that was in preview for a really long time. And look at the direction those games are going. Like, Ark is doing well, but DayZ, I think DayZ has fallen off a huge cliff.
Is Ark still in game preview?
I think Ark is still in game preview, isn't it, Assassin?
It's gotta be.
So.
Yeah. So.
Well, look at yeah, I mean, DayZ, I think, is still in some type of preview alpha state. I don't think it was ever finished.
Right.
And now you got Pub Battlegrounds coming out.
Right, upstaging the hell out of it, and, whatever. But yeah, I don't think Sea of Thieves is going game preview, and I think this is definitely, to kind of like move off this topic, I think this is definitely an indicator that it's not coming out in 2017. I think we all agree on that, so.
I mean, I even agree, and I was just trying to play devil's advocate.
Nice.
But I mean, it is true. Like, people do. The Harmonix definitely did that, where they would split teams off like that. So
right.
It could happen, but I don't think it's happening here. But we'll see, I guess.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, exactly. Like, maybe, not everybody knows the inner workings of game development, and maybe this is a thing where, it's not base game. Maybe they come out with base game. They're hiring these people to just expand the thing, and like you said, or somebody said, revolving door. Like, people don't necessarily think of Sea of Thieves as a revolving door unless you've played it. But on the out, if I'm just somebody who's never played it, never heard of it, and I see that game being presented by Microsoft, I don't think of that game as a revolving door. I'm sorry. I don't. They haven't marketed it well enough to think that. So I'm seeing this as, if I look at this as just somebody that has never seen the thing before, don't know the inside knowledge that Jizzle's given us, I think that it's bad news, but it could be good news. So,
and keep in mind, I mean, I shouldn't really speak to this because I don't know the state of the market in the UK, but I wouldn't think like the UK would necessarily be like a big hub for game development.
It's huge. It's huge, dude.
It's huge. Yeah, very huge.
Well, I'm sure it's decent, but it's not like, Silicon Valley necessarily.
Oh, no, definitely not. But for Europe, in terms of Europe, it's like, it's
probably.
Like the UK, and it's like Denmark or Poland or one of those two. Like, it's those two and no one else. Like,
right.
Those are the hubs.
Well, they're big on mobile phone apps too over there. So, like what Silicon Valley is to cloud services and engineers is probably what the UK is to like actual game development. They're more focused on game development than other stuff.
Like, for instance, Dan, UK is the host of was Lionhead Studio for Fable. They've got some big people in their arsenal over in the UK. Like, a lot of indie games, sure, but a lot of AAAs as well. So, all right, we're moving on. All right, here's a game that I think pretty much all of us would be definitely willing and happy to play. Sonic Mania. It's finally got a release date. It's coming out on August 15th of this year. Speaking of a game that's coming out this year, it's coming to Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and PC, and all of them are going to be $20. It's not like you're going to get the Switch tax. They're all going to be $20. So if you know anything about this game, it's definitely a throwback to the original Sonic games. So if you're into those, you'd definitely be interested. I think everybody here can identify with that. So anyone excited for this? And do you think this is Sega's big comeback?
It's gonna do great on the Switch. Other consoles, I'm not so sure about.
All right.
Okay.
Taylor Assassin?
I'm just hoping it's not a broken game, because every Sonic game that's come out for the past couple of years has been so broken.
It's not a broken game. I played it at PAX. It's actually phenomenal. I can't think of a good Sonic game that's come out since like Sonic Adventures. Has there been an actual decent, good Sonic game since then?
Well,
no. Sonic and Tails 2 was the best one ever.
Nice. Going back in the day. And Mr. Sky Blue 1972 says, who still cares about Sonic? And I think that's the point. I think that's what we're trying to get to here on the show, is that a lot of people are like, who still cares about this? Sega's dead. Those days are gone. And Jizzle kind of mentioned it as well. When was the last good Sonic game? But I think this is it, man. I think this. And
this is it.
What's the other Sonic game? What's the other Sonic game coming out this year?
Sonic Riders?
Sonic.
See, it's so sad. We can't even think of.
It's Sonic Forces, I think.
No, Sonic Riders was the one I was looking at. Did you know gaming? Maybe it is Sonic Forces.
Yeah, Sonic Forces is like a mix between the old 2D style and the 3D style of Sonic Adventure. That's Sonic Forces. So there's two Sonic games coming out pretty soon. So Sonic is back. I think this is Sega's resurgence, honestly. Taylor, I don't know about your Sonic acumen. Please tell us. Do you like Sonic, and are you interested in this?
Oh, I love Sonic. I absolutely love Sonic. It's another one of like the nostalgia games for me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I just am hoping that it's not broken, because Megan and I almost bought a couple of really broken Sonic games just to do a full play on her channel.
Oh, I know. You're right. Sonic
just because
games
it's so funny.
Yes.
Dude, when people used to ask me when I was a child what I wanted to be when I grew up, I said Sonic. Like, that was the answer. But anyways, that was a terrible joke, I guess.
No, I liked it.
So
Bravo, 8 out of 10.
the thing with the Switch tax is the Switch tax does not apply to digital releases.
Yeah, it does.
It does not.
What do you mean?
It's tied to the cartridge.
Well, okay. Hold on a second before you say that. What do you mean? Do you mean digital releases as in like all digital or just like indies?
In general. So, like, for example, there was a rumor going around that Puyo Puyo Tetris was going to be $40 across the board because, quote unquote, Nintendo had a policy that the digital release had to be the same price as the physical, and that's not true. Right. It's cheaper on the eShop than it is physically. So Sonic Mania is $20 digitally. I don't think there's a physical release outside of the collector's edition, which is $70. But you get a bunch of stuff with that.
Right.
So it's going to be either you pay a lot for collectors or you just go get it digitally for $20. But I mean, playing it at PAX, like, it's true. Like, it feels just like what you would expect from the old games. The only complaint I have is it's kind of like it's so similar to the old games that it's almost like you're paying for the same game again, which is something I hate that Nintendo actually does a lot. But it's been so long. It's been so long since they made a good one that it's like, I don't even care. Here, take my money. So it's gonna be good, and I think I'll probably buy it day one. But
well, they made those like remastered versions. Well, they made like Sonic 4, right, on the mobile platforms and stuff, and it actually did come to 360. And that was like their first attempt, I would say, at making an updated 2D side-scrolling version of Sonic, and that kind of fell flat because they did like episodic release, and that just doesn't work for Sonic. Sorry, that doesn't work. But now they're trying again with the Sonic Mania, and even from this logo, you can see it's so nostalgic. It's so back to the roots. And like Jizzle said, from playing it at PAX, checking out at PAX, I didn't play it, but I watched Jizzle play it quite a bit, and it is true. It is. I think that's the best way to describe it. It is really true to the old games, and if you're a fan of the old stuff, you're gonna love this one, I think. Assassin, haven't heard you on this, big guy. What do you think about Sonic?
I like Sonic. I used to play a lot of it was some of the older ones on my Game Boy Advance. I loved Sonic Adventure 1. I know some people didn't. They preferred the second one. And then on the GameCube, there was like some Shadow game. I forget what it's called. And then Sonic Riders, and then some on the 360. And I mean, I might pick it up. We'll have to see about money, but I'm excited for a good Sonic game.
Yeah, I think $20. I think that's a fair asking price for a Sonic game. You know, I would assume it's like 8 to 10 worlds, just like the old ones. I don't really know, but we'll get more details probably coming up at E3 in the near future. But I haven't heard of any details. If they're out there, I haven't heard of them. But it's exciting. It's exciting to have another Sonic game. Clowns, I thought you'd be more excited about Sonic.
I'll get it on the Switch. I'm definitely gonna buy it on the Switch, but other platforms, no. I'll play it on the go.
Yeah, it's gonna kill on the Switch. 2D side scroller is just like, say Switch to me, and you know what? Screw it if I don't get achievements. I want it on the Switch, man. I want it on the Switch. As somebody's like running the water, yeah.
No, it's storming outside, guys.
Sounds like you're washing your hands.
No, it's storming. No. Definitely storming outside.
Don't you need to tell us, clowns?
No, I was
Cameras
just checking. Because I can't get on the computer. I'm on my cell phone. We have a tornado watch, so I was checking outside, see what's going on.
It's the only thing I don't envy about Florida is all that shit. Do not want to deal with that. All right, enough about Sonic. Here's another game that's coming out that I don't think a lot of people have a lot to say about, but I'll just mention it because it needs to be mentioned. Pyre from Supergiant Games just got a release date finally, and it's already been announced that it's coming just to PS4 and PC for now, so that's not really big news, but the release date is July 25th, 2017. You can pre-order and get 10% off. Is anyone here excited about this game at all?
I don't know what it is.
Heard about it.
Yeah.
How much is it?
I don't know how much it is, but you can pre-order for 10% off. Let me see, Pyre. Price. I'd have to look that up, but Pyre showed really well at both PAX East 2016 and 17. It's from Supergiant Games, who's done Bastion and Transistor. Bastion is on the 360 and on the Xbox One at this point, but Supergiant hasn't brought recently. Has not brought games to Xbox One. I'll probably get this on PS4, to be honest. Maybe PC if it runs substantially better, but probably PS4 for those trophies. But I'm a huge fan of Supergiant Games. If you played Bastion, you'll know what to expect here. It's not the same exact style as Transistor in Bastion in terms of the gameplay, but the battling is kind of like, not really turn-based, but it's like basketball almost. You're gonna have to see it for yourself, and I know a lot of Xbox gamers probably won't be too hyped about it, but it is a good looking game. It's done very well at both PAXs, so I know our friends over at Super Deformed Gamescast will know a lot more about this because they did an interview with the developers and they also played for a very substantial amount of time at PAX East 2017. So it is $17.99 on Steam with a pre-order discount. So, Clowns, anything about this or no?
No, sorry, I was looking outside. What's the topic that we're on?
Pyre, Supergiant Games.
I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I figured.
I saw it at PAX. I wanted to check it out. They seem to be really crowded. It definitely looks interesting. I am interested in checking it out, but the only issue is July 25th. Why does that sound familiar? Let me see here. SP release date. Oh yeah, right. Splatoon 2, July 21st.
No, wow.
Not a real great release date for that. So.
No.
It's going to be tough. I probably will check it out eventually, especially if you're getting it, obviously. But yeah, that's a tough week to release.
Yeah, you got to be careful when you release in Nintendo games, especially like Splatoon, Mario Kart, Mario Odyssey later this year, probably. Be really careful. But this is not coming to Switch at all, so it kind of speaks to two different markets anyway. But we'll see. I don't know. It was important to mention because for PS4 and PC gamers, this is like a big deal to them. Let's see how many people actually buy it, though. Did I play the first Splatoon? Yes, we played the first Splatoon. Cloud, you played Splatoon, right?
A little bit.
Yeah. Assassin, have you ever played Splatoon?
No, but I'll probably play the second one when my Switch comes from Florida.
Right. Taylor, have you played Splatoon?
Haven't, but I'm also waiting on my Switch.
There you go. Instead of getting a tattoo for your anniversary, you should get a Switch.
Yep.
Nah.
Switch it up.
She's like, nah.
Oh, I see what you did there, Assassin. I
Yeah.
see what you did there.
No, I mean, if Clowns just get some solar panels from my company, he's basically paying for it then.
There you go.
I get a bonus.
With all these tornadoes and the dark clouds, there's no need for solar panels anymore.
Yeah,
That's fine.
But you're getting a lot of sun down there. You know how much you save in your energy bill?
Yeah, no, I trust those guys at the electric company.
Oh, do
especially
you?
now that we don't have to worry about the climate. We can just pour all types of toxic fuel into energy. It's going to be great over here.
All right, well, moving on to I think the most, maybe the saddest topic of the evening, because this is a very highly anticipated game that finally came out, and dare I say is an absolute mess. Friday the 13th finally out, and no one can connect. Well, back when it launched, no one could connect to matches. It still is a little finicky. People keep telling me, "Oh no, it's great, it's great, it's great." But you have to play in private match. I'm like, "Oh, okay, great. Like that's exactly what I want to do." A lot of people, say, "Okay, you want to play with your friends, great." But what if your friends aren't online? What does that mean? You can't.
Or
play
if you have no friends.
Or if you're like Assassin and you just want to play with random people and play with random people.
Yeah, I mean, play with random people on Xbox on Xbox especially is impossible. PC, it's a little better. PS4, I think, has had the best success with it. But I went on Game Zone. I actually looked up a bunch of reviews for this game because, I was mildly interested. It's I liked the idea of Evolve, right? We all kind of liked that idea, and that kind of fell flat in its face. So I looked on Game Zone, and apparently Friday the 13th, they call it one of the biggest disappointments of 2017 so far. And the person who reviewed it said, "I'd rather spend a summer at Camp Crystal Lake than play this game." So they'd rather be arranged. They'd rather be hunted by Jason Voorhees than actually play this game. So what does that say about it, right? I've seen a bunch of reviews saying the game is absolute trash. Repetitive, very boring, and I know somebody in the YouTube chat said 1LP23 says Friday the 13th has been crushing it on Twitch lately, not sure why. And that's the thing, like if you guys notice, it's been doing really well streaming, but why? Like it's so repetitive.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's kind of fun to watch. Like I've been watching a lot of people playing it, and I mean they're having a good time. You get to see people get brutally murdered. I mean you can't really see that all too much, and it's kind of interesting, seeing someone's head get smashed into a door, or a bird feeder bath thing. They get stuck on that and smacked with it a little bit. I mean it's fun to watch. Like I said.
The reason why everybody's watching it is because nobody could play it.
Exactly.
Yeah, but League of Legends is huge on Twitch, and that's free. Everyone can play that.
Yeah, but then you also have to have skill for that.
Well, yeah, but all these pissed off people that spent $40 on this game that was supposed to be so great, and they can't connect to it, and they can't play it. So where do they go? They go watch it on YouTube so they can get more pissed later on.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I read a couple things about this that I found extremely pathetic. In a game that's based on hiding, apparently when you hide in like closets and stuff, you clip through the walls. So like, say you jump in a closet and you'll clip right through the wall on it, and Jason can just see you through the wall because your feet like clip through. You ever see like something like Tom and Jerry where like one of them's hiding and you can see like their tail from behind the curtain? Like they're bent over behind and you can see the tail, and it's like, oh, well, guess who's over there, right? That's kind of like this game. Like if you're hiding in one of the closets or something, you can see their feet and you're like, oh, I know you're hiding through there, and you just get killed. Also, I read in actually Mr. Megada's review over on Super Deformed Gamescast, he said that he said that he called the police to get rescued, and he heard the sirens, and he went out because that's one of the ways you can escape in the game. He went outside to go to the police, and the police weren't there. Like you can hear the sirens, and the police just weren't there, and then he just got killed by Jason because he went outside. So I mean, it's buggy beyond the server connection issue. So people who say, "Oh, it's just server connection issue," it's not, man. It's not. You got to be honest. Like, just be honest with yourself. It's not that great.
What a horrible release.
Right? I mean, that's essentially what it is. And the thing that sucks is that, like you said, Taylor, it's a horrible release, and the game is probably better than the release indicates. And the bugginess and the connectivity and stuff. And like you said, Assassin, it's fun to watch, and it's a great streamable game. It's fun to get in with your friends and all that. But because of all these bugs, like it's just such a mess that it's just gonna fade off. I think the game's in trouble now because of this.
No. But we all know the best thing and the kind of scariest thing is that consular. You have the picture of the guy on there with the blonde hair with that terrible face animation that's like
those eyes.
everywhere.
Terrifying.
Those eyes. Real quick to the YouTube chat, and then we'll get some thoughts from other people on the panel. Supersonic Station says, worst game launch in the history of gaming. He bought it. He says it's fun, but can't play, so no excuses. He backed the game and donated. So this was a Kickstarter game. So a lot of people are saying, oh, give it a little bit of slack, It's Kickstarter. And you know what? Fair. Okay, server connectivity issues, maybe, like, if you're a Kickstarter game, that stuff's tough. We've heard from devs, even on our own show, we've done interviews, and they've said, getting connectivity, getting server connectivity, getting multiplayer online, one of the most difficult things to do in gaming. Like, people think it's just straightforward. It's not. It's difficult.
Yeah, but there's no excuse for this game. They had betas, a lot of betas.
True.
Months.
That's a good point. So yeah,
they also got over $750,000 through Kickstarter. So yeah, I don't have a lot of sympathy for them, and this actually stuff like this makes me really nervous about just in general. Like I back a lot of Kickstarter projects. Most of them are video games or video game related. So definitely stuff like this makes me nervous because this game was something interesting. If I had caught this, I probably would have backed it. I think I missed out on it. And so I'd be pissed right now if this were me. But at the same time, I will say it seems like they've been pretty diligent about trying to clean things up. And I've seen a lot on Twitter about them trying to stay ahead of it and fix all the issues. But it definitely leaves a bad first impression when you launch something that's not ready for all this.
Right, and like we mentioned earlier in the show, it's totally unrelated game-wise, but a similar kind of thing is that AC Unity had a great story, but AC Unity out of the gate was just so freaking awful that people just didn't want to go back to it. You could buy codes for like $3 for an Assassin's Creed game. I mean, a lot of people said the story was better than Black Flag even, but Black Flag was just so much more polished.
Wasn't the Division really bad too?
No. Unity was awesome. The story was awesome. The French Revolution kicked ass. Go back and play it.
Didn't Inferno say Unity's story was better than Black Flag, and you just disagreed with that?
That's what I just said, yes.
So Black Flag
but
better.
he said
confirmed.
He said a lot of people wouldn't go back to Unity.
Well, because it's a buggy mess.
Yeah.
If any game's a buggy mess, if Call of Duty, well, that's a bad example.
It's a very bad example.
Yeah, that's a really bad example. But another indie game or whatever, if it's broken, no one's gonna go back to it. It's just gonna die.
Right. I mean, and that's the thing with Friday the 13th. I think there are a lot of people who backed it, and you know what? Honestly, like even Jizzle just said he backs a lot of games on Kickstarter. If you backed it, you're really, Supersonic Station is 1 in a million, I think, or 1 in 1,000. Very rare, in that they'll admit, like, I backed this game and I feel bad for backing it, like it was shit. A lot of people don't want to say that they backed a game that turned out to be shit. You know what I mean? People don't want to admit that they put their money behind a game that's just not good. So I know there are a lot of people out there that are apologists for it, but at the end of the day, like, the game is based on hiding. In a lot of cases, you can't even hide. Like, game broken right there, right? The game is about joining a party, and it's all about multiplayer right now. The single player doesn't come out till the summer. It's all about multiplayer, and you can't get in matches unless you do private match. So, I mean, there it is, right? I just can't get over. I understand a lot of people like this kind of game style, and I agree with you. I wish it worked, but it doesn't work. It's just not.
So this is. I feel like this is as bad as what Ark did with the putting themselves in game preview and then releasing DLC for the game before they finish the core game, right? Yeah. Because if you do a game on Kickstarter, right? And a lot of the times these people do games on Kickstarter and they offer like betas and stuff like that, early access to people that back the game. those are your like stakeholders now, right? Like those are the people you really need to do right by. So why release a multiplayer part of the game before the single player? And the game's not finished, and all you really have to do is give it to the Kickstarter people. Like if they had just released this portion to the Kickstarter people, kept working on it and fixing it, like the Kickstarter backers are like probably the most patient people. They will wait until eternity for something that they backed, as long as you do right by them. And if you get it to them earlier and it's in a broken state, they're also happy because if they're the first ones to get it, they don't care.
Right.
But if you release something to everybody and it's broken and like you didn't do right by your backers, it's like that's the worst thing you could possibly do in this scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's. Yeah, I feel bad because I know like Supersonic Station says that we asked for a beta and they said no, and you know what, I sympathize with you, but you know, man, this is why I don't back things on Kickstarter. I hate it. I hate that it gets this bad connotation because like remember Mighty Number 9, like the game that was supposed to revolutionize and bring Mega Man back into prominence and everything, and that game bombed.
I told everybody that looked like shit. I wish everybody would have listened to me from the get-go on that one. But, no, with Friday the 13th, though, just get back because I haven't said anything on it.
Yeah.
I just think that this should be the reason why people do class action lawsuits against a company. I think this should be the game that takes it to a class action lawsuit level so that devs can stop messing with us on Kickstarter.
Yeah, and I feel like I just misrepresented Kickstarter, and I really feel bad because there are Kickstarter games like In the Shadows. Like that game I played at PAX before I backed it, and I was like, listen, this is good shit. Like this is a great game. And I played it myself, and I think it's great. So there are Kickstarter games that are good. It's just, like Clown said, like on Kickstarter, you can get away with murder nowadays. And like Jizzle kind of alluded to, they'll wait forever for something. And then sometimes you are waiting forever. Like how much stuff on Kickstarter has become vaporware. We're never going to see it. They'll just like updating, you know, and they're like, oh, well, you know, we ran out of money, so sucks. Bye. Thanks.
The other problem, too, is on Kickstarter, like, it all depends on what you're backing. So, like, you kind of have to temper expectations depending on what the scale of the project is. Like, I back a lot of games that are like, they'll see a release and everything, but I don't expect them to be like Ukulele or any like those big name Hyperlight Drifter, right? Like those big success stories you see on Kickstarter, and it's like Kickstarter, Thimbleweed Park. They show you like those. They're like, these are the things that these are the projects that got started on Kickstarter. Look at them now. Like they want to drive that like false narrative, and it's not like that. Like a lot of the games on there are really small scale. But when you have a game like this, where you're getting, I would say anything over $500,000, like you have to deliver. It's just like you cannot drop the ball on this. Like for all intents and purposes, that's a big title that you're trying to put out.
Well, not only that, Jizzle, but also you got to think about this too, is that it's based on a major motion picture, right? So there's rights to Hollywood studios and to the creator of the character, and you're destroying them as well.
Right.
You're just literally destroying them.
Right. You're dragging them through the mud, and in the same breath, you already have the creative intellectual property to work on. It's not even like they had to come up with their own game like Ukulele or like Hyperlight Drifter or like Thimbleweed Park. They didn't have to come up with a story or any creative intellectual property. It's all already laid out. You just had to create a game. So, I'm with you on that, Clowns. Like, I almost treat this completely like you screwed this up to this point when you already had that already going for you. That you don't. I don't think they deserve any sympathy. None whatsoever.
They deserve a big fat lawsuit. Sorry, I don't mean to insult other devs out there, but I mean these guys just raked in a ton of cash, and it's excuse after excuse after excuse. And first they blamed Xbox, like, oh, we're working with Xbox to get my ass. You don't know the shit you're doing, and that's fine. Like if you don't know what you're doing and it's hard to do multiplayer, I get it. But don't just shift the blame on other people and then tell other people, oh, well, 0.005% is bad accounts. We'll look into it. Come on.
Yep, they said that. Yep. Which is flat out not true, by the way. But
so even like kind of further you guys' point,
yeah,
you had Dead by Daylight come out before this, which is almost the same exact gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that they had the core gameplay mechanics out as well as already having the story, the characters, and all of that already fleshed out for them, that's a big issue for you to mess up this game so badly on release. It's
a great point. It's an excellent point because, like Supersonic said in the YouTube chat as well about Death by Daylight, that game's coming out. Dead by Daylight. Sorry, not Death by Daylight. Dead by Daylight. That's coming to console, I guess, next month.
This month.
Or this month. So not next month anymore because we're in June 1st. But this month it's coming. And like you said, Taylor, like that's already been established. It's coming to console this month. And Friday the 13th is leaving a bad impression in people's opinions and leaving a bad taste in their mouths. So this game is dead. Like this game is going to be dead. I understand a lot of people on Twitter love getting into a party and playing this with their friends and getting into a private match, but that's gonna get old, guys. That's gonna get old.
Yeah, and if you knew you had a problem with the multiplayer, then why didn't you just do single player first?
Because the single player is not out, dude. That's the thing.
Yeah, they should have. That's what I'm saying.
I see what you mean. Okay.
Like, why waste their time on multiplayer like a bunch of idiots when they could have done single player and people would have been happy in single player waiting for the multiplayer?
I see what you mean. Yeah. Yep.
So wait, how does this work? Is it you have to buy the game now and you get the single player when it comes out?
Right.
Yeah.
So that answers your question.
Or Jizzle, get this. If you wait until the summer to buy the game magically goes up in price to $60 when the single player comes out, but it's $40 now.
It's a cash grab. It's as simple as that. This is the problem. See, this is like a lot of the times when you see these projects, this is why a lot of the games on Kickstarter I back are small scale, because I know it's somebody's putting their heart into it. And it's usually like sometimes it's just one dev, sometimes it's a small team, but I know the people that are doing it are passionate about it because it's a small scale operation. It's an indie operation, right? And when you get games like this on Kickstarter, great. Like this game looks cool when it first goes up, the campaign, you see the campaign, and it's like, this looks incredible. Like this is going to be an awesome game. I get to have a part in it, like maybe put my name in the credits, whatever. But then you realize such a large scale, it's not being driven by those people. It's a business, and like you see it come out when the game releases, and it's just like we're trying to get money, pay us money now. Hey, it's a bargain. You know why it's a bargain? Because the game doesn't work.
Right.
Like it's as simple as that.
Right. And like Enrique, Basement Radio Arcade Podcast, just said, I understand they're a small team, but still, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. You can't be putting your product out on the same playing field in the same store as these other companies and have it broken. Like, I understand indies put out smaller scale games. They charge $12.99. Some of them are gems and some of them are trash, and I understand that. But at the same time, like the marketing behind this, the push, like everybody was covering Friday the 13th. This was one of the big releases this year, and it's out for $40. People thought it was a bargain, and it just flat out doesn't work. Like even on PC.
You know what?
Like, go ahead.
I got some advice for you. If you're thinking between No Man's Sky and Friday the 13th, go spend that $40 on No Man's Sky somewhere over Friday the 13th. At least that game looks better.
At least it plays.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but that game didn't play when it first came out either, right? Didn't that have a lot of problems? So
I mean, it had
no, the issue was the multiplayer.
The multiplayer, yeah. I mean, yeah.
There was supposed to be multiplayer, and then they're like, yeah, no, it's single player now.
Yeah, and then there were bugs here and there that you'd expect from games, though, Jizzle. Like, graphical bugs here and there, not like game-altering bugs.
But everybody slaughtered No Man's Sky, and I think Friday the 13th needs more, a lot more attention than No Man's Sky got.
The other problem with No Man's Sky, though, is it was kind of dubbed as like Sony's savior almost. It was like they really put it on a pedestal, man. At E3, it was like, oh man, look at this, indie goes big time. Like this game looks very unique. Like they just put it out there like that, and then it's like they dropped the ball.
That wasn't it. Sony advertised things in the game that didn't appear in the game when it launched.
Like multiplayer.
That was the issue.
Oh yeah, I don't think it's the people that made it. Don't get me wrong. I always blame the business people whenever something like this happens, because I've been in the industry. I know how that works.
Right.
Like, they just simply want to put something out. They want it to be out there as soon as they could possibly put it out there. They don't care. You can literally tell them, like, the machine fries as it's trying to run the code, and the smoke starts fuming, and they'll be like, okay, but it runs. Like, the game starts up, you see the flash screen, like, or the splash screen, and you're like, yep. It's like, okay, ship it. Like, they don't care. They just simply don't care.
Right.
So usually when you have the people that actually put the time into crafting it and creating the thing you're playing, like, that's those are the people that care about what's being put out there.
Yeah. And I know, like, we're going to get off this topic because we're running kind of late, but I just want to close with saying I know a lot of people that are fans of the show are going to be upset that we're talking about Friday the 13th about this, but come back to me in 3 weeks and tell me if you're still playing Friday the 13th. I guarantee.
Or even if you can get into a game to play Friday the 13th.
Right, or if you can get into a public match. Like, you don't have to do all this private match, like, hullabaloo where you have to, like, rig this and rig that and, you know, get 8 people solidly to play and all this. You're going to forget about it, man. You're going to forget about it, guys.
Or if you would have listened to Mooch Swami and Psychic Clowns a while ago before the game launched, we said it was repetitive, and then Mooch Swami said it looks like dumpster fire.
And I understand there are aspects of the game that, even though the mechanics are very repetitive, that there could be differences. Like, there's a lot of places to hide. There's a lot of items you can pick up. I mean, there's a lot of things that can make every round different. And I've heard that argument, and that's a fair argument. But, I mean, I don't want to keep going on this, but just to say, you know, there are different characters in the game, right, Assassin? There's a bunch of different, characters you can choose that are supposed to have different, like, quality attributes, like different stat attributes, like speed, quickness, like survivability and stuff. And I've even heard people say that those don't even matter, that everyone plays the same. So, I mean, they even screwed up on that.
Characters get stuck in walls, they can't move into trees, you know, you can't escape properly, items are missing in the game when you go to look for them. Come on.
Remember Mafia 3? Mafia 3 got killed for having bugs that were game-breaking. We were joking about it on this show. Assassin took clip after clip after clip. And that game was killed. Like, very few apologists for that game, right? Now Friday the 13th is out, and because it's kickstarted in a small studio, it's people are out there as apologists? No, they were beta tests for this, man. They were beta tests for this.
I just want to say one more thing, kind of more on the business side again, because it's kind of coming up in chat. But I guarantee you, if the devs that made this game have any credibility, I'm sure that they brought these issues to the people making the calls about when certain things are getting released. Because when I worked at Harmonix, little Easter egg here, the Wii version, which is the one I was primarily testing. We had one of the stages, I don't remember which one it was exactly, like, we were maybe a month out from release, and this stage was causing the game to slow to a crawl. Like, I'm talking 10 frames per second or less. It was just unbearable. It's like, that's show-stopping, right? Like, you just can't play that. And they were like, it's going out, so it doesn't matter what it runs like. If everything else runs and it's just this one stage, it doesn't matter. It's going out. And it's like, you have to be kidding me. Like, how do you not see that this is going to be a disaster? Well, especially on the Wii, where it's like, you can't patch that. You know what I mean? So, like, people blaming the devs, I would really not go against them, because I think they really brought these up. Most of the times, you're going to find that they bring these up, and then they just get pushed back.
One of the devs is the owner of the publishing company.
Interesting.
Well, then that's a conflict of interest, right? Like,
yeah.
And I'm not saying this is the way it goes all the time, right? But, like, most of the time, I think the people creating the software are really in it for the best interest of the consumer, because they want it to be good too. It's something that goes on their resume. Like, think about if you worked at this studio and you have to put this on your resume, like, that's going to hurt you individually. That's going to hurt your career, because people are going to look at that and think it's your fault.
Yep.
And obviously,
Well-
like the game is not in a good state, but it's just you need more time.
Investors are going to be like, "Well, you screwed everybody out of millions. We could use a guy like you."
you put shit to the table and was able to get $750,000. You know?
Man, you could sell Enron all over again.
Wow. All right, we gotta move on from this topic.
Wait,
This has gotten.
yeah, one more
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
thing. I wonder how much of the $885,000 they made went to the guy who mocapped Jason, because he actually played Jason in the movies.
Yeah, probably too much of it. Like, that's a cool thing. That's a cool little tidbit. But like, if the game doesn't even play, like, you don't really need the guy playing Jason in the movies mocapping Jason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Crazy. That's a good tidbit, though.
I honestly wonder how much of that money went towards making the game
Yeah.
versus paying the higher ups.
Well,
Check in the campaign because they usually break it down. At least the smarter people do when they put their projects up on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go look at that right now.
All right, we got to move off this topic. We got two more topics really, really quick, and then we're out of here. I know we're going a little late, but we got weird news of the week. We've got, of course, first weird news of the week, which when Clowns brought this to my attention, I thought this was a troll, but I read the article and looked into it a little bit, and it's absolutely true that there's a new Halo Waypoint feature about the making of Halo and the background of Halo, and I guess at first they didn't like the name Halo. They trashed the name Halo. They said it was off-brand. They said, we hate the Halo name. It's not on brand. That's exactly what they said. So that's why they had to add Combat Evolved. They're like, we're pushing Master Chief, this big, guy with a suit and all these weapons and military, and you're gonna call it Halo. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Of course, they were ignoring like the whole point of the game, but nonetheless. And they also said that multiplayer was awful. They were gonna trash the multiplayer mode in Halo, so that would have been an absolute disaster, obviously. So what do you guys think about this? What did you think about this story?
Imagine what Halo would be like with another name. Like, I can only imagine.
Yeah, Halo's
Like
gonna-
Destiny.
Oh, yeah, I guess. But still, like, just imagine.
I can't. Halo is such a great name for a game. I think I'm happy there was somebody in that room that didn't just like let this go by and let them trash Halo and make it something else that was stupid, because Halo Combat Evolved was just so perfect.
I mean, if it were called Destiny, that would work too. I can definitely see it.
Yeah. Definitely.
The Combat Evolved thing is fine to me because I always forget about that. Like, a lot of times I see it, people just type in like Halo CE just for short, and I'm like, who cares about the collector's edition? Like, I don't even think about Combat Evolved being part of the title. So obviously they were wrong about that. I mean, Halo's the thing.
Halo is the thing for sure.
No, I think Microsoft was right to not like the name. I don't like the name Halo either. Like the Halo rings and the Halo. Like I think Master Chief is kind of cool, right? Like I like the characters and the way they developed them, and I like Cortana. I think if they keep Cortana going as the villain, that's great. But the Halo rings, I mean, come on, man. Like,
What do you want
really?
them to be called? Rings of killing everything?
Why even have Halo rings? Why not just like do like Deep Space Nine or Star Trek shit and just transport yourself? You know, you don't need rings to bounce off of.
Do you know what Halo rings are?
Well,
Sort of.
Well, that's the thing. Like,
Okay.
That's why it had to be called Halo. Like, that's why I said at the beginning when we were introducing this, like, they weren't even considering like what the game was actually about when they were like, "Oh, this isn't on brand." They were too held up in the fact that Master Chief was the protagonist and you were part of an army and all this kind of thing. I think Halo suits it for what it's about, and I think
Now it does because it's been there so long.
yeah, that's true. Taylor, any thoughts on this?
I can't. I can't. It's so weird to think that Halo almost wasn't called Halo.
I know. It really is. Like if it were not called Halo and it were called something else that were like super shitty, and then it came out that it was gonna be called Halo, and people were like, "Oh, that was the perfect name for it. How could you have done this?"
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know what I would have done. I don't know if I'm more shocked about the fact that they almost ditched the Halo name or that they almost ditched multiplayer in Halo. Like you think of Halo and you think the multiplayer is so good. Like Halo 5, one of the best multiplayer games of this generation. Halo 3, one of the best multiplayer games of last generation. And, people always talk about Halo revolutionizing the FPS genre in the multiplayer sector. And then single player and multiplayer. To think that they didn't even have multiplayer, almost didn't have it, is just crazy to me. Assassin's like over there nodding like, fuck Halo.
No, I love Halo.
Me too. We gotta get back on Halo 5. I saw Xbox streaming the other day. He was so good. I just need to get to that level.
I have 2 questions about this. Number one, did they say what they were considering instead? And number 2, and this is the dumb question, did they name Cortana? Did they name that voice assistant Cortana because of Halo?
Yes. Yeah. Answer to number 2, yes. What do you think? They just terrible. Independently came to that? Like, let's just name it Cortana.
I don't know. You never know how Microsoft thinks. This is the same company that acquired Nokia, so you can't put anything past them.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But yes, to answer number 2, that is correct. Number 1, I don't know. Assassin, do you know?
No, I didn't read it.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, the article isn't even the story. The story is that they did like a feature about this, and I didn't watch it, but I don't know. They may have said it in the actual like video feature, but not in the article. So anyway,
it is what it is. We got Halo.
We got Halo. That's right.
Like angels have.
Angels, Halo
have Halos.
And Halo.
Yep.
And the Patriots won the Super Bowl. All is right in the world.
All is right. All is right in the world. Speaking of all being right and actually going completely against all being right, Nintendo Switch, the headset / voice chat situation has been officially leaked or released. According to Hori, which is a big third-party accessory maker. I believe they're Japanese-based, but they could be Chinese-based. They released some diagrams about how the Splatoon headset would work for party chat on the Switch. And look at this mess. I mean, look at this thing. You're going to have a cord coming out from your mobile phone for the voice chat. You're going to have a cord coming out from your Switch for the game audio. They're going to merge into one into this Splatoon-shaped dongle, this squid-shaped dongle, which then plugs into your headset. So we're going backwards, ladies and gentlemen. We're going backwards. What did you guys think when you saw this? Kind of a mess, right?
It's a nightmare.
Yeah, it looks like the PS4 VR.
You know what the most offensive part of this image is? Like, those headphones are straight out of, like, 2002?
Yeah, the old Xbox One headset, right?
Yeah.
Like, what is that?
Come to make Nintendo money without really paying much.
Yeah.
You think they would at least try and do something Bluetooth with the phone?
Right.
Absolutely.
That would cost them more money to do.
Yeah, but then you have lag as well. So
no, dude.
I kind of understand that.
Dude,
but this is like...
Go ahead, Jizzle, I'm sorry.
This is ridiculous. Like, this is way too much. Like, this is so counter to how the system works. You're going to have a handheld, and then this whole contraption is going to be as big as the rest of the handheld. Like, nobody's going to do this.
Well, yeah.
This reminds me of the Sega Nomad.
Yeah, it's like back in the Sega Nomad days where you needed like 6 AA batteries to run it for like 2 hours. You needed a Genesis card. You needed like, if you...
Did you say double A's?
Yeah, wasn't it double A's? It was 6 AA's, wasn't it?
Dude, dude, they were D's.
Oh.
You're thinking of Game Gear.
Yeah, you might be thinking of Game Gear. The Nomad definitely ran on D batteries.
Oh, did it really? Wow.
And it ran for like 2 minutes if you played on batteries.
What a mess. Yeah. No, but and then not to mention about your point there about it being counter to the whole idea of the Switch, like What about if you do this docked mode? Like, what the hell are you gonna do? Can't
Yeah,
plug
it
into your
doesn't
controller.
make sense either. Yeah, right.
The
You're gonna
cord-
stand like 2 inches from the screen.
Yeah, right. I mean, like the cord. I guess the supplied cord, according to Kotaku, the supplied cord is only 20 inches long.
You're kidding.
So,
Yeah, but now they can sell you the extension cable for $20.
That's right.
Yep.
Yep, that's right.
And then they're gonna have
This is
different
what I hate.
colors.
This is what I hate about Nintendo. Like they're killing it right now. I think the Switch is like headed in a good direction, but like this is absurd.
You know, it's going to be up to third market, like aftermarket stuff, to come up with something better.
But how could you like the party chat? I mean, there's no chat out other than the headset on the Switch, so you still need the phone for sure. And then how are you gonna mix the game audio? You know what I mean? There's no Bluetooth out from the Switch, at least on this revision. Maybe they'll make a new one.
I don't know.
So speaking of the voice chat, I have some breaking news. So apparently the Nintendo Online service is going to be $20 for a year, which is actually not too bad.
Wow.
It's still free until 2018. So obviously it doesn't really make sense to do it until 2018. However, on this chart comparing the online service to the non-subscription service, online lobby and voice chat app not available for non-subscribers.
Right.
So I guess it just doesn't even work unless you subscribe to this. So there's another reason not to get it.
Yeah, it's like PSN or like Xbox Live Silver. Like if you don't pay, you don't get lobbies, you don't get voice chat at all. Oh well, I guess on Xbox Silver, can you voice chat?
I believe so.
I think you.
I don't think so. I think you might be able to send messages, but I don't think you can join party chat.
Yeah, but you can't play online. You can't play online without the service either.
Yeah, same thing with Xbox Live Silver.
Which will eventually be true for the Switch, but for now it's not. For now, online gameplay will still be free until 2018.
Gotcha.
So, and then on top of that, just another thing just to point out about that, there's a row here that says classic game selection, and then in parentheses it says product name subject to change, and that's not available to non-subscribers. So I have no idea what that is, but
that's the thing that's the thing where they're renting you a virtual console game for a month and then taking it back and then renting you a different one the next month.
I never saw that.
Yeah.
That's completely new to me, but okay, that's fine. If that was going to be like virtual console in general, like I would have been like, goodbye Nintendo, like put my Switch on eBay.
Yeah.
That would have been crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's breaking news, I guess.
Yeah, $20. I mean, I would rather pay $60 a year and have it work without this freaking dongle. I mean, like, without the phone, without the dongle. Like, this is just ridiculous. I bet
Who am I going to
just-
talk to on the Switch, though? Like,
Just
really?
think about it. I mean, there's a positive to this, right? You guys are looking past the positive.
To get money?
The positive is that there's not going to be a lot of kids doing it because it's too complicated unless their parents set it up for them.
All right. All right. So there are going to be little squeakers or whatever.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
By the time they get it set up, they're going to have to get off because they have to go to bed for school in the morning.
Yeah, can you imagine like one of your friends hits you up on Twitter or something or on text messaging and they're like, oh, let's play some Mario Kart, and you have to spend like 10 minutes just hooking up all these dongles and like, you know, strapping them to your back and everything. Like, it's just absolutely ridiculous. Like, and you're right, this headset looks like it's straight out of the old Xbox days, but I guess this headset is in the Splatoon game as well, so it's like Splatoon themed. So, but anything else about this, people?
No.
Assassin, you want it?
Oh.
There you go.
Oh, one day.
Maybe I'll just use Tommy's mom instead as a handle.
Still has my name.
Nope, there's a lot of Tommies out there.
So.
Jesus. All right, and with that, we're done. I know this was a long episode, and I know there were some technical difficulties, including just like 2 minutes ago, which I fixed very quickly, but sorry about the technical difficulties. I don't know what. I keep getting this error in OBS that says lost connection to YouTube server, which I've never seen before, so maybe that's something new. I don't know. But, yeah. Jizzle, thanks for joining us this evening.
Yeah, it was interesting. I probably wouldn't have done it if I knew Clowns was going to be back, but always great to be on, I guess.
All right. Well, we appreciate it anyway. Yeah, so if you liked this episode, of course, give us a like, and of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/4GwQuarters. Definitely, go follow us on Twitch and Beam as well, because we're going to start multicasting again. I'm going to test that out this weekend. Last weekend it was just too crazy. I couldn't test it out, but I'm going to test it out a little bit this weekend, see if I can get that going. So we're going to be back on Beam, back on Twitch. Just search 4GwQuarters on those. And I know Assassin's going to be streaming a little bit, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, it's a lot. Anyway, and on Twitter, 4GwQPodcast. Follow us on there. Facebook, we're going to turn over ownership over to Taylor on this because Assassin is avoiding Facebook like the plague. So look out for us on there, 4GwQuarters on Facebook. And, of course, our website, 4GwQuarters.com, where you can find articles, reviews, and past episodes. So, yeah, Taylor, you going to be streaming it all this weekend? What do you think?
I don't know.
That means no. That means no. But
it's probably no. But it depends on what I feel like playing this weekend.
Nice. All right, well, if you're interested, Zebra Fries on Twitch. That's her channel, so go follow her on there, of course. And, yeah, follow us all, like our individual handles on Twitch, Twitter, Xbox, that kind of thing. And we'll... if you say you're from the podcast, we'll follow you back. If you're just a creeper being like, I want to have your babies, then we'll probably not follow you back. But, yeah, anyway.
You're forgetting one thing.
Oh, what did I forget?
Discord.
Ah, yes. Our Discord is now active. Look out for a link for that on... We'll put a link in the description, actually, below, and we'll also put a link on Twitter again periodically. So look out for that on Twitter as well. All right. Other than that... See you guys later. Peace.
Bye.